What are the biggest derbies in football? What is a derby? If you never heard the term before in football, you might be a bit confused between what a derby is and what Derby County is, the football team in England. But a derby essentially means a local rivalry between two clubs that historically don't get on with each other. There are thousands of examples of these across the world. I'm going to try and narrow it down to 5 of the biggest, most fiercest local rivalries in football. Now, when I say local rivalry, I do mean that in the literal sense of the word. These clubs either have to be from the same city or at least relatively close to one another. For example, El Clasico back in the 1980s and before was known as El Derby, the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona. But despite these two having a lot of animosity towards each other, I wouldn't really personally call it a derby because they are separated by about, 3-4 hours on the road. It's not close at all. They're not even from the same region. If you ask certain people from Barcelona, they won't even say that they're from the same country as what Real Madrid are, of course, being fiercely Catalan. But which are the 5 that I'm going to pick for this? Well, it's very hard to narrow down to 5, but here are my 5 picks for the biggest derbies in world football. Of course, the UK is the birthplace of modern football, and I'm saying UK instead of England here because I've picked the biggest rivalry in the UK without a doubt. It has to be the Old Firm derby. There are some massive derbies south of the border in England, don't get me wrong, like between the likes of West Ham and Millwall in East London, the North London derby, the Tyne Weir derby, the Steel City derby, the Manchester derby, the Merseyside derby. There are dozens, right? But none of them for me are as big as what these two are in terms of their local rivalry. They absolutely hate each other, Rangers and Celtic. These two are by far the most successful and dominant clubs in Scottish football, having won every single Scottish Premier League title going all the way back to the 1980s. And despite the recent relative struggles of Rangers to get dominance back in Scottish football, Celtic have really walked it over this last 15 years or so. They are absolutely incredibly close in terms of their overall record. In total, Rangers have 120 major honours, with Celtic having 118. They have exactly 55 top-flight Scottish League titles apiece, and in terms of the head-to-head record, Celtic have 170 victories to Rangers 171. That is unbelievably close over a derby that has been around for 140 years or so at this point. Celtic and Rangers are so fierce in their rivalry. It's not just about playing in a different colour of shirt. It is also about religious difference, cultural difference. These two could not be more chalk and cheese. The only thing they have in common is the fact that they are in the city of Glasgow, but that is it. And this derby has been so fierce in recent times that until literally this season, for a good while, away fans were banned in this fixture. But thankfully, away fans are now allowed. And of course, these two clubs play each other loads. They play each other at least 4 times every single season. They play each other 4 times in the Scottish League, but they also usually do face each other in the Scottish Cups as well, the Cup and the League Cup, of course, as well. So yeah, this one is absolutely fierce, and for me is without a doubt the biggest derby in the United Kingdom. But let's head over to the Mediterranean next. Let's head over to Greece for the derby of the eternal enemies between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos. These two clubs are based in the Greek capital of Athens and have dominated Greek football, not dissimilarly to Rangers and Celtic in Scotland. Overall, between these two clubs, Olympiakos are undoubtedly the dominant force overall, having 48 league titles to Panathinaikos' 20. Olympiakos have also won this fixture 90 times to Panathinaikos' 57. However, don't let that fool you. The support for these clubs is absolutely incredible. The passion is absolutely off the scale, and for me, this is without a doubt one of the biggest derbies in world football for its animosity, its vitriol, its anger, really, when it comes to this. They absolutely deserve a place on this list, as do as well. I mean, this is the only one where these guys are actually from different cities, but given how close they are and given the passion in this rivalry, I have to include them. It's the Klassiker between Ajax Amsterdam and Feyenoord of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. A bit like the derby of the eternal enemies There is one team here that really does come on top, not only in terms of their overall success, but also their performance in this fixture. Ajax have won this game 95 times to Feyenoord's 63, and in terms of league titles overall, Ajax have won 36 to 16 for Feyenoord in the Eredivisie era. But despite being from different cities, these two absolutely hate each other. The two biggest cities in the Netherlands are Amsterdam and also Rotterdam as well, and the passion that can be seen at the Johan Cruyff Arena and also De Kuip as well in Rotterdam, it's absolutely on another scale. Two massive clubs from a relatively small country, but don't let that fool you. Two of the big three in the Netherlands, these two are the two of the dominant forces traditionally in the league alongside PSV Eindhoven, but the rivalry between Ajax and Feyenoord is massive. There's a lot of cultural differences as well between these two cities. I've been lucky enough to go to both of them in the past, and they could not be more different, to be honest with you. Both lovely in their own right, but yeah, when it comes to the football with these two, they absolutely despise each other. And that too is the case for the Belgrade derby, which is also called the derby of the eternal enemy as well, just like Panathinaikos and Olympiakos. Again, a lot of cultural divide between these two. I believe Partizan used to be the club of the police and Red Star were the club of the army, although I could be wrong with that. I know there's something like that when it comes to these two. A lot of cultural divides. These are the two biggest clubs in Serbia, but they were also the two most successful clubs back in the Yugoslav days as well, both being the most dominant forces in that nation before it was split apart and continue to dominate Serbian football as well. In terms of the records of both of these clubs, it's Red Star that does come out on top. They have won this fixture 117 times compared to Partizan's 82. And Red Star have also got the most all-time Serbian Super League victories and Yugoslav First Division titles back in the day as well. Belgrade, of course, is a big city. It's a huge city in Serbia, and we all know that there's a lot of passion when it comes to the fans with these ones. The flares absolutely get brought out. It's just incredible. The quality of the game is not quite on the level it used to be back in the day. Red Star, of course, were in the Champions League back before it was the Champions League. I think it was the European Cup days back then. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, guys. But yeah, a huge game, even though some of its shine may have come off in terms of the quality of the football there, but the passion, the rivalry between these two sets of supporters is absolutely constant and will continue for the future. Now, all of these derbies that I've spoke about so far are all based in Europe. I'm going to give some love to South America. South American teams doing really well in the FIFA Club World Cup so far, so it's only right that I include one from South America. Now, Brazil is the biggest nation when it comes to population and size in South America, but I'm going to go south. I'm going to go to their big rivals, Argentina, for an incredible derby, the Super Classico between Boca Juniors and River Plate in Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. This is so tight between these two. These are two of not only the biggest clubs in Argentina, not only two of the biggest clubs in South America, but also two of the biggest clubs in the world. I am not exaggerating when it comes to this. These are incredibly successful clubs at both domestic and continental level, and even intercontinental as well. If you go back to the days of the Club World Cup and the Intercontinental Championship, they regularly used to beat sides from Europe, like they're doing right now, to be fair to them. But yeah, in terms of the success overall, Boca has 91 victories in this fixture and 89 of them go to River Plate. So it's very tight over a long time. In terms of their domestic titles, Boca has 35 of them and River Plate has 38. They're absolutely massive clubs. There's a reason why they call it the Super Classico, and they actually did meet each other for the first time in the final of the Copa Libertadores, the South American equivalent of the Champions League, a good few years ago, and that was a whole chaos thing in itself. I might do a video about that actually at some point, because it's barely believable what happened there, but it did. The passion of these fans, we know what the Argentine fans are like, and it's absolutely brought to light at club level with these two. They absolutely hate each other. Violence and flares and atmosphere. Just look at some of the footages that people are putting online, the videos that people are putting online of Argentine fans and celebrating and everything like that. It is absolutely unbelievable from a European mind to trying to compute what you're seeing on the screen, but it's absolutely real. It is pure South American football. But yeah, those are 5 of my picks, guys. Like I said, there are dozens, there are hundreds that you could easily make a case for when it comes to this. The Ruhr Derby in Germany, some of the rivalries in South America, some of the rivalries in Mexico, some of the rivalries even in places like Africa as well. There are some unbelievable games over in those parts of the world. Maybe I'll expand this list at some point, guys, but I've gone plenty in depth with these ones. But which is your pick for the biggest, fiercest derby in world football? Get your thoughts in the comments below. As always, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. Have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, guys, and I will see you very soon.